Jaz Coleman sitzt neben mir. Wir sind hier an einer wunderschönen Location auf dem Rock in den Ruinen Festival in Dortmund. Can you remember the most bizarre or special place you ever played in your career?
Oh, there are so many, but inside the Great Pyramid must be one of my highlights. To record inside the King's Chamber at the Great Pyramid, this was unbelievable and out of this world, and very funny as well, because the way that we managed to accomplish this was bribery with the Minister of Antiquities. We bribed him 3,000 US, and he gave us 3 days in the King's Chamber for meditation purposes. And so we moved all the equipment into the King's Chamber, which is a big job because there's nothing to plug into there. And the first day was a disaster because what happened in the King's Chamber is that we brought in like 10 hours of batteries because of the power problem, and it would just evaporate all the energy in the battery, so we only had 15 minutes each time. But the second day was magic. We did a ritual to start with, and I ended up managing to get quite a lot of the vocals and everything done there. And when we came out of the pyramid, there was about 1,000 Bedouin warriors and locals there, all clapping and chanting. When we came out, it was like a Hollywood stage set, and it was one of the most bizarre experiences of my life.
And a bizarre place with audience, can you remember one?
Oh, yeah, with audience, I can think of more than one. I'll go to a couple. We went to this club in Valencia. And when we arrived at this club, it was bizarre because music was playing and everybody was dancing, again, like a Hollywood stage set. And we loaded all the equipment in, and people were dancing behind the bar and in the club and helping move the equipment in. We thought, what's going on here? And then when we actually did the concert, even more people came and they were dancing. It was only later that we realized that they were selling mescaline, this hallucinogenic drug there, and everyone was flying off their heads. That was quite an experience. And then I can remember that we played at the Limelight in New York City this one time, and the night before, one of a crazy Killing Joke fan gave us 4,000 tabs of acid. And we didn't know what to do with it, so we gave it to the roadies, and the roadies gave it to everybody in the audience. And my God, it was a very, very strange atmosphere on stage that night.
I heard that you are an ordained priest. How did that come? Or did you ever think about, working in this area?
Oh, I have worked in this area, but the only reason I studied Christianity intensely is so that I could be part of destroying it. So I am well educated on the Old Testament and New Testament. It's a very shaky spiritual foundation for Western civilization to be based on, which is why I studied it, so that I could be part of its transformation. Myself, I consider myself a very deeply spiritual and religious person, and I venerate the Mother, a divine mother, because all our food, our bodies comes from this earth that we're destroying, that we're polluting. It's obscene what we're doing to the earth. If you think of this Fukushima reactor that's just spewing more and more radiation out. I'm going to Japan in 2 weeks' time. I mean, the Japanese politicians are sending all their families out of Japan. It's disgusting. You know, it's the equivalent of 2,000 nuclear bombs being let off into the atmosphere, and still the radiation's coming out. And then you bear in mind that there's 6 new nuclear power generators being planned for Great Britain. There's 60 new nuclear power generators being planned for the US. And this form of energy is criminal and insane. and I'll fight it as long as I live. I moved to New Zealand because it's a nuclear-free zone. This is a curse on humanity. There are 435 nuclear reactors on the planet, and they want to build more of them. I want to see every last one decommissioned, dismantled, and I will forever sow the seed of this in. For me, it's a crime against Mother Nature, against the Mother Earth. So that's where I stand on these things,